At 26 years old, I filed for a divorce. Do I recommend it? Absolutely not. However, my self-worth needed to be adjusted majorly. And in that process, I learned a lot. Here are 20 things I learned getting divorced in my 20s. Enjoy your ultimate survival guide at getting over the worst heartbreak ever.
The first one, my career matters to me way more than I thought it did. Let me explain. Here's the thing. I always cared about my career. I really have. But when I became a stay-at-home mom, I think I relied a little too much on my partner and I didn't push myself enough. And I really did not realize that putting all of your eggs into your family's basket wasn't always ideal, especially since I had a lot of goals and dreams. And I really wished I would have pushed myself a lot harder when I did. This wasn't necessarily brought on by anybody. It truly was my own personal person that handled the relationship, and I should have pushed myself. But this is just something I realized getting out of a relationship. When I relied so heavily on someone else, I really truly wasn't giving myself the chance at my own dreams. I think I told myself that my dreams were already being met when I really should have been pushing myself, and I wish I did, because I feel like I'd be a lot farther in my career. Also, for me, that looks like making cinematic films on the internet, and now I know that this is really meaningful to me, especially since I was a stay-at-home mother, and now I have to scramble to figure out how to make income and to have an income that'll actually be able to afford an apartment as a single mother with not another partner with me. It's like number one, number two priority is career, because to focus on my career is to focus on my daughter, because if I don't have income, I don't have a house or money, so that's not fun. You know what I mean?
You were not happy. I promise you, you were not happy. That relationship would not have ended or began the process of ending if anybody was happy. And let me tell you, if one person's unhappy, both people are unhappy. There cannot be one happy person and one unhappy person. It's truly a little circle dynamic that has to happen. Now, mind you, there are moments in a relationship where you need to adapt, change, figure out how to make one person's needs met a little bit more. Like, those things are normal and natural, and this isn't to say that you should never ever have an unhappy moment. However, something that I wished I would have realized a lot faster in my relationship and in my life in the process of getting a divorce was that I really wasn't happy. I wasn't deep down fulfilled because that person was not meant for me, and it's so nice to just have that off of my shoulders. It's also totally raining out here. This one feels really important to say because I think so many women tend to hold on to the good. We tend to look at the good. We tend to wonder, how can we get him back? How can he love us again? If he left once, why would you want him again? Why would you want someone who's willing and okay with leaving you? And I should have looked at that as a red flag years ago, but I didn't. And if he's leaving you a bunch, girls, why would you want that?
Let yourself grieve. Let yourself be sad. Let yourself be angry. Don't shut down those emotions. It is 1000% not worth it. Anytime that I stopped showing my emotions, that I stopped feeling my emotions, that's when I started to get really overstimulated, really angry, and that was not fun. When the emotions don't get out, they build so heavily within you, and it is one of the most overwhelming feelings I have ever experienced. That rage of anger, and in my experience, I was cheated on, and that's not everybody's experience, but for me personally, if I didn't let those feelings out, my rage, my resentment, and my anger was awful. You gotta think of your emotions like waves. Waves need to continue to break. If a wave just builds and builds and builds and builds, you get a tsunami. And we don't want tsunamis. We want to be able to be controlled with our feelings. And I noticed that when I didn't let the wave crash and have my emotions come out at a more reasonable speed and pace, when they did crash, they were a lot more volatile and they were a lot more all-consuming. Listen, it's not easy, and sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes you gotta put a brave face on for your children, a brave face on for work, a brave face on for your family or whoever you're around. But at the end of the day, you need to find your safe people that you can let those little waves crash onto. If I didn't have those people, I don't know what I would be doing here, truly. I'm not gonna lie. It has been a ride.
You are not crazy. Nobody was meant to be a single parent. This statement isn't to make you feel bad. This is just the truth. People were not meant to be raising children even in a 2-parent household. People were meant to be raising children with multiple people around them to switch on, to switch off. Somebody's here, somebody's there. There's always somebody to help come in and pick up the slack. So when you feel your mind falling off of itself because you are so burnt out and tired from a solo week of parenting, you're not insane. That being said, find your village. It's so easy to feel guilty that you aren't as present and then you're shoving your kid over to somebody else. Let them help you. Some people don't have that help. And for that, I really, really recommend going onto Facebook groups, going onto the internet and finding your people, because doing it alone is just the worst.
Let yourself experience love again. This does not mean jump into a relationship. This does not mean jump into another person's arms. What this means is watch the cheesiest garbage junk food TV about love. Read all of the romance books. Experience love and passion, and even if it's through the lens of a writer, author, director, because as stupid as it sounds, me letting myself experience love through the lens of art, so good, so wonderful, so healing, and so necessary for me to have hope again. Just because you're not in a relationship does not mean you're not a lover girl anymore. Does not mean that you don't want hopeless, romantic, beautiful, passionate love in your life.
I missed taking care of my body. I missed exercising. I missed drinking water. And I find that a lot of women and men who are at the end of a relationship that just isn't working, you stop taking care of yourself. And when you are finally free from that relationship and you're no longer in this dome of this relationship and you're out there and you're like, wait, I exist. And maybe it'd be really cool if I could touch my toes and I could drink a little bit more than 1 cup of water a day. Our bodies are not meant to be in that fight or flight state all the time. We need to take care of ourselves. I did not realize how much I was neglecting myself and my body and my fitness, all things that I loved to do prior to my relationship or at the beginning of my relationship. And now that I'm forced to kind of re-interact with that part of myself, has given me a lot of confidence, because I do think that like getting into the dating world and feeling yourself is going to give you that confidence and bring in those people that are also trying to have that same energy, and people who are loving themselves and taking care of themselves. Listen, we all have to have our moment of binge eating ice cream at night after our breakup, but after those first few weeks of grieving, then you gotta get to work, girls, and you gotta get hot again. I also learned that men do in fact suck. This one hurts. It hurts me a lot, because I believe in love, and I do believe that there are people out there who have really good luck with this. In fact, a lot of my family members experienced a lot of really amazing luck with their high school sweetheart or with somebody that they had all their firsts with. But for me, and in my experience, I needed other experiences. I needed other variables. So in my situation, yes, being with your high school sweetheart is kind of a risky move. You don't really have a lot of life experience or a lot of adult experience to base off of. What is the adult world gonna look like married to this person? Now I understand why so many people who've gone through divorces with their high school sweethearts or with their first love. Mind you, my first partner was everything. I had my first everything with this person. I had no variables to kind of base off of what was normal, and that isn't normal. For me, when I looked at myself in the mirror and was like, oh, I really should have experienced other forms of love and other people to really understand what I wanted and needed, because I really didn't know. I am sorry to break it to you, but it is going to be up and down and incredibly wavy. I found myself so angry when I would dip back down, almost worse than I did when I first found everything out. I would get so angry at myself that I couldn't snap myself out of this grief and out of this upset that feeling, that's just part of the process. And it is something I wish I knew before I got divorced. I think if I knew this, I would have been a lot less angry with myself for feeling that way. It is truly just part of the process. You just had this entire world with somebody. It makes sense that there are days where you're like, holy crap, I'm free. Nobody can touch me. I'm doing everything that I want to do. I'm at the right place. And then on the other day, you are so sad and so angry, and almost more angry than you were day one. And that is 1000% normal. You are not crazy, and I needed to say that. And here's the other thing. Those moments where you do feel so good are those little windows into the future as to like what life is supposed to feel like. I would look at that as a sneak peek into the future, that life is going to feel like that more consistently. You won't be able to stop talking about it for a while. And there are some people in your life who will hate that. And there are some very gracious people in your life who will sit down with you and listen to you bitch about the same thing over and over and over and over again. And you know what? Those people are saints, because we all know that we can't stop shutting up about what happened. We need to continue to re-experience it, to realize what's happening, to talk about it, to communicate how we're feeling. It's part of the process, hence why I'm making this video, because I cannot stop shutting up about it. You need to touch grass. If I did not get outside daily, I would lose my mind. And getting outside, it reminds you that like this world is so much bigger than you are just as a person. And it really puts things into perspective, or at least it did for me. Speaking of outside, it is currently raining, so let's go inside.
You will feel behind in life. Don't get me wrong, you kinda do have to restart. However, you now have a lens that is much clearer than most of the people around you do, and you can take that much clearer lens and much better filter and actually find someone who is worth pursuing. A lot of people who are in relationships now are probably gonna get divorced later. You got yours out of the way. Being alone is better than settling. Truly, why would you want the person that was okay with leaving you? Why would you want the person that made you unhappy? Why would you want the person that dragged you down? Why would you want to be with your ex? Why? I don't understand. You know what? I do, because I was that girl once that pushed for somebody who kept leaving, and then they proposed to me and then they left again. Don't do that. Be better. Every single day you are becoming stronger. Your red flag detector is so much clearer. You've experienced it. Take power in that feeling that you know exactly all the things to look for your next relationship. This one's gonna suck, but seeing them with someone else will in fact suck. Even if they wronged you so hard, it still sucks to see somebody that you had a life with, that you built the world around you with, to see them with somebody else, knowing that they are building something else with somebody else. It really F's with your brain. You almost feel ashamed that you're angry about it, but you know what? It's so human to realize that it sucks to see somebody that you loved with somebody else.
It is overwhelming to get divorced. There are so many moving parts, so finding support is so incredibly helpful. I learned that it is one of the most overwhelming things anybody can go through. Conversations with lawyers, conversations with family, explaining what happened to hundreds of different people who are so curious as to what the hell happened in your marriage. This is gonna be my hippiest bit of advice, but you need to envision your life positive again. Take time at night to focus on a whole different world of a life that you have never experienced. There's literally a rainbow that I'm looking at, which is, I hope that's a sign for me. I've had such a hard time in this divorce. I know I seem so positive right now. Envisioning a rainbow at the end of a storm, envisioning your world as a positive, wonderful place where people love you, a man loves you, a woman loves you, or at the very least, you learn to love yourself, because at the end of the day, you have you all the time. Self-love is the most important part of the process of getting a divorce, in my opinion. I think if you don't focus on your healing, it is going to be very, very hard. And part of that for me is visualizing my future, trying to have positivity in a really dark time. It is so important. It's time to purge. Purge everything in your life. People, friends, family. Half the time you already are going to be losing a lot of family and people. Most people have to sell their homes. I do. Most people are losing family members. I did. If your life is already purging for you, you might as well get a head start. Get rid of the clutter, get rid of the junk. Take exactly what you want into your new life and leave everything else behind. I did so many runs to Goodwill and got rid of basically 90% of what I owned. Anything that didn't serve me or things that I didn't want to hold on to, I got rid of it. And I will say, as sad as it is to get rid of everything, it is also so freeing. This does lead us to the end of this video. I really appreciate if you actually made it to the end. I know it's so hard to get people to actually watch a full video. If you did, leave a comment on the thing that you think was the most helpful. And I would love to know anything that you've learned in your process of getting a divorce, because it can be so hard. Let's build a community. Let's make YouTube a place where people are talking and actually connecting and communicating, because I think like on the internet it feels so big yet so small, and I think if we can actually sit down and talk to people, it makes the world a less crappy place to live in. For those of you who don't know, my plan on this channel is every other week I want to post a more casual video like this where I'm talking to you guys almost like a visual podcast. I'll intertwine a lot of cinematic beautiful shots, but I'm also going to mostly just be kind of talking and connecting with you guys. And then on my other week I want to post a lot more cinematic videos that take more time, videos that I'm the most passionate about. I want to post short films. I want to do behind the scenes on how I make these short films. I want to take you guys behind the scenes on trying to discover yourself and just the process in a cinematic storytelling type of way. This video was so much fun to film, but my cinematic, more story-based content is truly where my heart lies. But this is a way that I can stay consistent, and I want to know what you guys think of this type of video. Did you like it? Did you not? Would you rather me post less frequent and post things that are more quality-based? Let me know. I did have a lot of fun doing this, and I do think I would love to incorporate this more into my channel. But anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys very soon.